Page 20, Through the Clouds. This is in 6/8 time. So there's 6 beats in a measure and we're counting eighth notes. So there's the same as 6/8 notes in every measure. Okay. This is where it helps to keep in mind that a dotted quarter note is the same as 3/8 notes. And it doesn't matter what the time signature is, that's always true. The dotted half note is the same as 6/8 notes, and you can see in the left hand and how the hands go together that it lines up pretty well. Just keep reminding yourself of this stuff until it really soaks in, because it'll come in handy in other pieces. Then there's 1 flat in the key signature. We're in the key of F major. Make sure you can do the F major scale 1 octave up and down. I have a video on that scale. You just do what I tell you to do in that scale for the beginner level, 1 octave up and down. Let's take this one hand at a time. Make sure we have it. We're moving around a little bit. The beginning, here, right hand. 1, 2, just, this is simple enough. Eighth notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the third measure, you gotta reach up. Don't forget the B flat. And then come back up. During the rest at the end of the line, then you come down here. Put that little fingers on A. And we do the same thing basically, except now we're in this position. So the third measure of that line here, and then come up. Again, don't forget the B flat. Then during the rest, you come down 1 key on here. Third line. I'll get there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Rest, and then went up here. I'm going to show you a different fingering. We're starting to get up there a little more, and I like to start using fingerings that are a little more not beginner fingering. This is a beginner fingering. We just stay here until the rest and then you move. I want to prepare the move. So what I want to do is here on the second measure of that line, instead of 4th finger, I want you to come and bring thumb under. Just relax. Relax. And you'll find that your thumb can reach. Your thumb can reach if you don't tense up and you're, just relax and you can go here. You don't need to come way out here or anything, just relax and the thumb is here. This is in the scale. If you've been doing the scales like I've been asking you to, this is what you do. This way, you're already in position. Now all you gotta do is just reach up 1 key and that's what I recommend you do. So the third line. Rest, 2, rest, and during the rest, come up here. You do the same thing again and use thumb on the F. Rest, and during the end of the line on the rest, now you're going to come all the way back down here. Okay, you can do it. Okay, it's not hard. Don't quick jerky moves or nothing, just right. And then these are B naturals here, and that natural sign is good for the rest of the measures, remember. And then I thumb again, and rest, and then come up here, and then reach up, and that is an F. Remember all those ledger lines. Well, that's 3 ledger lines on that, and 2 ledger lines is a C. Memorize that. C, and then 3 is going to be an E, and that's above it, so that's an F. So from here to here. And then during the rest, you come down for the top of page 21. And we get back what we were doing at the beginning. Second line here on page 23 here. Now the F sharps. And that sharp, remember, is good for the rest of the measure. They get B flat. They put the B flat in parentheses because it's not necessary. It's a B flat anyway. They're just being nice. They make sure you play a B flat, because you may think that since we're in this key, you want to be natural, because there is no B flat in this key. So, see? But they're telling you make sure you play that B flat there. Next line, now the F sharps go away. Okay, last line on page 21, you're down here. A C, 1, 2, 3. Remember, it's worth 3/8 notes. And you just reach down here. There's 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then come down here. If you can't reach that, then you have to lift up and move, but if you can, reach it. And that F is tied all the way through. All three of those F's at the end are tied together, so you only play them once. Left hand, got the chord, the F chord. Now try and get these notes down at the same time. I'm just lowering the whole hand down gently, and I'm letting the wrist collapse a little bit here. Just third measure, it's F, and then the fourth chord, 1. Next line, it's here, you're down here, and you're doing the same thing here. Now, if your hand's too thick to fit up in here, then you got to do that. I'll leave that up to you. Third line, that's a B flat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then you get treble clef. You got to lift up and move way up here. You're doing the same thing, but it's just an octave higher. Now, last line on page 22, put an F, it is an F, put a thumb on that. Play it with the thumb, because you're in this position and you could play it with second, but you got a G coming up. You want to prepare for it. So to prepare for it, we're going to move down and put the thumb on that. And lift up, come way up here, because we're still in treble clef. Top of page 21 is treble clef, because we were in treble clef already. Second line is D chord. You can do these. I think we've done these before. Let's go down to the third line, last measure. The notes are a D and an F, but they have an 8V8 over them. So you're going to play them an octave higher. They have a little note there, LH over. You don't need the note. I mean, the notes, the music tells you what to do, because the right hand is holding the A down. Here, that you got to cross over the hand to get up there. That's all right. Then we got bass clef. So the last line of page 21 is bass clef. Rest, rest, rest. 4, 5, then come down. And the last measure, the left hand, treble clef, an A and an F. They got LH over again, but you'd figure that out on your own. It's up here, because your left hand is, or right hand's playing that note. So the idea is make sure you can cover the notes and fingering in each hand separately, so you can really focus on what that hand is doing. And then we'll go put the hands together, and usually it's like starting over almost. It just feels weird. It just... So both hands come down, not very far, just a little bit. You're doing all that. Let's go down to the third line. You're here. Rest. Make sure you lift up for the rest in the right hand. 1, rest. 2, rest. Rest. 2, rest. 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 And then page 21, we're up here. Let's jump all the way down to the last line. You're here. And then lift up right there. Connect this note and this note. It to sound like is one hand played all of this. I want all that connected, so that's... Remember, the F is tied, you're just adding that to it. So you work it out, roll the right notes, no hesitations, get rid of the hesitations. It needs to be a steady pulse on the eighth note's got to be a steady at your speed. You pick the speed, and then we can add in the slurring. I completely disagree with the idea of doing this, and this gets back to interpretation. You don't always lift up before and after a slur. In my opinion, we need to lift up before and after the phrases in this piece. And it just works out. A phrase is a musical sentence, remember. It just works out here. Each line pretty much is a phrase. This whole first line, that's one sentence. So I'd connect all that together. Then you'd lift up for the rest anyway. And then second line, same thing. The whole line is a sentence. And then the third line, now here you can split that up. Just 2 measures at a time. And then lift up. Of course, you got to play the rest anyway. Okay. So in my opinion, on page 20, the first 2 lines, each line is a phrase. You connect it. On page 21, the first 2 lines again, or 3 lines actually here, the whole line is a phrase. So you connect the whole line of each of those lines. And then the last line, we're here. In my opinion, that whole thing is one sentence too. I'd connect all of that together as best I can. Here, I'd connect all that together. So then the question is, why are they putting in the slurs? And there's a couple reasons possible. I mean, you got to ask them, who knows. But possibly it's because they're telling you they want you to connect these notes. Because if they don't put any slurs or anything in it, it's entirely up to you how you want to play it. And you can play them staccato if you want to. But when they put in the slurs, then you don't have a choice. You connect them. Another possibility might be that the person who did this is not really a piano player so much. Maybe they're a string player. And they don't understand that these curved lines mean different things for strings than they do piano. I happen to play a violin too, so I kind of don't know. So, I mean, these could be bowing indications on a violin. Doesn't mean you separate them. It just means that you got a down bow on the first measure and an up bow on the next measure. That's all that means. But you don't separate them necessarily. But that could be another possibility. As I said, you got to ask them as to why they're doing it. My guess is they want to make sure that you slur them, that you connect them, and not play them staccato. Anyway, dynamics, that goes to the right hand for the most part. Soft, what do you think soft is? It's just soft. It's not super soft. There's softer than this. It's just soft. The left hand, the chords, those have to be really soft, really soft. And that's hard. You got 3 notes. 3 notes out number 1, but we want to hear that note. Don't play this note louder because you can't play these soft enough. No, the melody rules. The melody decides what's going on. How soft do you want the melody? And you practice and find a way to play those chords softer. You just very gently lift or slow, push it down, you know. You got a swell there, and you come up to moderately soft. There. And then soft. And you just swell again. Third line, now you're moderately loud in the right hand. The left hand soft. Then you're going to echo that. You're moderately soft. Last line on page 20. Now you're loud. The left hand's sort of moderately soft, so. Come back down about a moderately soft. And then top page 21, you're soft. Very soft in the left hand. And the crescendo. Come up to moderately loud. Go up to loud. Stay moderately loud, and then go down to soft. And these notes are at the same time. Then the third line is moderately loud, and then you get it down soft. Now watch these chords. I didn't cover those, but I'm sure you can read them and find them, but that's okay. But you're going down to soft. And then that last chord is soft. this, and this is very soft here at the same time. So again, the third line. You don't slow down there. I'll come back to the slowing down in a minute. You don't know, there's nothing to tell you to slow down. There's a fermata, hang on to that a little longer. How much longer? I don't know, a little longer. If I play it with a metronome, I just double the value, so I would hold that dotted, or that quarter note 4 counts instead of 2, because I just don't, as I said. And then the last line, you're soft, that's both hands. Go down to very soft. And again, there's no retardando there, no slowing down. You just go down to very soft. This, I want to hear this when I play that. That's sort of the idea on the dynamics. Now, again, you got to get comfortable with it and know it well enough you can feel these dynamics. You feel these swell. You feel that each time. You don't we force it to start with, but you got to get to where you can feel it. Now, just a little bit on natural accents. 6/8 time, we're going to feel this in 2. So we want to hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's sort of the way it's written. That's why those eighth notes are beamed 3/8 notes at a time. That's how we're feeling it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. We don't force it, we feel it. Because if you'll feel it as you're going through, it'll come across in the music. Because we could have felt this every other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, sometimes 6/8 is that way. So adds syncopation to it. Now, some pieces would do that. But this is not written that way, so don't do that. Now, feel this in 2 all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Speed-wise, moderato isn't the speed of the beat. The speed, moderato's in the middle. It's the feel of the piece. It's just not a fast piece. Yay, let's dance. It's not a slow piece. It's like I'm at a funeral. I'm having so much fun at a funeral. Good grief. No, it's somewhere in the middle. It's the feel of it. Because if I count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's not a moderato speed. It's more like a moderately fast speed. But it's the feel of it is in the middle. And that's, in my opinion, how it would go. Then they've added pedal on a few places. Well, let's look and see, because if you're going to use pedal, there ought to be a reason. You need to understand, because you can play this whole thing without pedal just fine. So why are they adding pedal? Well, mainly for contrast. Because it's like the first 2 measures are clean. And then the next measure, we're going to swell up, but we're going to add the overtones. We don't pedal the last measure because we're coming down. So we're only, it's the overtone. Listen to the difference in sound. See, there's a little difference in sound, and that little difference is hugely important. And in my opinion, this is really what they're doing with the pedal. Now, when you get to the end, the last 2 lines on page 21, here they're adding pedal for the overtones and the misty. They want this misty and in the clouds. You're disappearing into the clouds. So the last line, you're pedaling that and changing it on each measure. We're changing with the harmony because the chord changes. The last line on page 21, the chord is here, and then here, and then here. See, the harmony is changing, so we changed the pedal with the harmony, but we still want that cloudy, misty, foggy effect, and that's what they're doing here. I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. In the third measure, I'm going to push the notes down, change it after I play the notes, and lift it up after I play the first notes in the next measure, so the pedal overlaps. Do that throughout, so the pedal is lagging behind the hands throughout. down to the bottom of page 20 on the next to the last measure. I think that's too much. I disagree. I'm going to change it on each note in the left hand. Here, change it here, and then lift it up, because I don't want it that smeary. We're not foggy yet. We're sort of foggy because it's way up here in the clouds, but it's too much, too soon. Ugh. So change it there. Then on page 21 or no fermata at the end. You just hold it as long as it takes for those however 5 counts, and then let up. Now, once you get into it and you start feeling the music, then you start interpreting the music, and that's really up to you and your feelings. It needs to be fairly straightforward, but over on page 21, on leading up the last 2 lines, that last 2 measures, if you want to slow down a little bit, slow down. Don't slow down a lot, just slow down. That's interpretation. Same thing on the last line. It's here, the last 2 measures. If you want to slow down a little bit, again, the music doesn't say anything. It's not telling you to, but it's not telling you not to. Because if they really didn't want you to slow down, they'd put in a note, no retard. But nothing. So it's up to you. If you feel a retard there, do it. Try it sometimes, and other times leave it out and see what you think. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check all the notes and everything. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to play both hands about the same, all the hands as both. I only have 2. I'll give it 6 counts. Now let's just try it together slowly. Now remember, this is after you've learned it. You go ahead and learn it first so you can play it through, no hesitations or anything, and then do it with me and we'll check that to make sure you have the right notes and rhythms going. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, go. 4, 5, rest. 2, 5, rest. Rest. 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, rest. 5, rest. 4, 5, rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, hold 2, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rest.